Angie, you want to start us?
I will start the webinar now.
Oh.
Thank you. So I will call this meeting to order at 6:02 on Monday, May 1st, 2023. And I would look for a motion to go into closed session.
I will do that.
Thank you, Bruce.
I can second that.
Thank you, Megan. And I guess we need a roll call.
Okay. Howery,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Mooney,
Yes.
Fessler,
Yes.
and Fisher. Yes.
Okay, we shall adjourn to room across the hall.
I will end the webinar now and we'll reopen when you are back in open.
Thank you.
Sounds like a good band name. The Room Across the Hall. Yeah.
Okay, so we are back in open session, and we will proceed with our consent agenda items. The consent agenda contains minutes from the April 17th and April 23rd school board meetings, administrative, professional, co-curricular staffing recommendations, and a leave of absence request. We also have some co-curricular and professional recommendations not necessary for vote, so I guess I would look for a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
I can do that.
Thank you, Bruce. Second, Megan. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And we can move on to public comment, I believe, is next, correct?
That is correct. Would you like me to invite the
Please.
public to register if they wish?
Please.
All right, one moment. All right, if you'd like to make a public appearance by speaking to the board, please utilize the Q&A portion found at the bottom of your Zoom window. In the Q&A, we would ask that you type your name, address, subject of interest, and whether you have discussed this item prior to the meeting with either President Howery or a district administrator. After submitting information, I would then transfer you over to speak to the board. Thank you.
Okay, and I'll do my little read here. In accordance with School Board Policy 1673, the McFarland School Board welcomes public comment during regular meetings. The board will accept public comments via individuals who are physically present at the board meeting, who are participating in the board meeting virtually, or who have sent an email to the board president or superintendent in advance of the meeting. Please note the following. Participants are required to register their intention to participate in the noticed public comment portion of the meeting upon their arrival at the meeting, and shall begin their comments by stating their name, address, and group affiliation, if and when appropriate. Participants shall address only topics within the legitimate jurisdiction of the board. The board members will not directly respond to comments and may only take action on topics that are on the published agenda. And participants are asked to limit their comments to 5 minutes in duration. Written comments will have a word limit of 250. The portion of the meeting for public comments is limited to 60 minutes unless extended by a vote of the board. And participants shall direct all comments to the board and observe reasonable decorum. So Angie, it appears as we have no public comment this evening.
That is correct. No one has registered.
All right, then we will move along to McFarland High School student report. Take it away. Uh-oh.
Hi there, don't mind my special guest.
You don't even know. Oh, I love beagles.
He's Beagle Weir. I'm just on puppy duty for the night, so he's going to be playing me today. All right. All right, so a lot going on in McFarland High School. Wait, that's the slide too soon. So very recently, our own MHS DECA team went to ICDC, which is an international competition. I believe ICDC stands for like International Career Development Conference. So they took a lot of members, as you can see by the photo, to that conference down in Orlando, Florida, and returned last week with a second place medal in MDA fundraising, which I'm sure you all have heard of. We've been doing it throughout the year. Special congratulations to Caden Bainan for taking top 20 in his series event, and to Valerie Vaderberg for her test medal. Something having to do with our club. Our club is hosting our annual fundraiser called Date Night with Connect on May 19th with the help of other student volunteers, where parents and guardians can drop off their children for a peaceful night at home or out and about. Except this year, half of the money raised for this event will be donated to the local organization Reach Dane, which is dedicated to providing education and supportive services to Dane County families. So that is awesome. This week also marks the kickoff of AP testing. So, woohoo! So good luck and congratulations to all students in their hard work this year, completing their classes and studying for this like super huge exam. And also a special shout out to our testing coordinator, Miss Wink, for all she does for our students during this week. She truly does it all and has been such a big part in making this happen. So just want to shout her out. Also, something super awesome happening at McFarland High School is that our own Eco Club secured a win in the state energy competition called the Renew Our Schools Energy Competition. So yeah, we took first place out of the other competing Wisconsin schools. I do not have a whole lot of information on that, but basically, Eco Club encouraged McFarland High School to conserve energy by turning off lights, unplugging devices, and just in general being more eco-friendly and environmentally conscious. So super awesome, and congrats to Eco Club for helping us win that super big competition. Also, this past weekend, there was the state solo and ensemble competition at UW Whitewater. So MHS music students who made it to the state solo and ensemble competed. Congratulations to all the students who participated and were awarded for high marks for their performances. And that is about all we have. Are there any questions?
No, I was able to attend the solo ensemble this weekend, and I am just always blown away by how much talent there is in all of the groups. But McFarland really stands out in our performances, and I think it has to do with the students, and I think it really has to do with the advisors, and just at the level that they teach. So,
Yeah, our music department is fantastic. Phenomenal.
yeah, yep. So, thank you.
Yep.
Joey, did you mention the play? I may have been.
Oh, yes.
Clue.
Yes, Clue just finished up last week, and I believe there were very, very, very many tickets sold. That, in fact, most of the shows sold out the second week. So that's cool.
Do you know what the capacity is in the Black Box Theater? Is it 50 or is it, you know?
Oh, no, I would say it's probably around 100. I mean, I think they tried to fit in more people as they came for the performances. So
I heard 150 whispered in the air
Yeah.
over here, so 150 is what we're hearing.
It was packed on Sunday, yesterday, so.
Cool.
Yep. Super, super cool. I don't have really much of a question, but I'm finding myself just astonished at how close we are to the end of the school year. You know, it seems like we kind of just got rolling, and now we have all this end of year stuff that's coming in front of us every day. So, yeah, there's only 5 weeks or so left, I guess.
Oh, my word.
Joey, I'll ask you, this is, as a former teacher, I can never decide at this time of year, are you winding down or winding up?
Oh, winding up, definitely.
That's what I think. I always thought, boy, it is not winding down, it winds up, it just cranks, it is going.
Yep. Chaos.
Well, you should be with us for another meeting at least, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The 15th?
She got a couple.
Okay, well, that's good. We certainly look forward to your portion of our meeting every week, as do the tens and hundreds that watch us on TV.
Thousands.
That's the Joey show for most of them. Thank you
Oh,
very much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yes, thank you.
All right, moving on. School board notice posting locations. Board policy specifies where the school board agendas shall be posted. Legal counsel has suggested that annually we indicate the locations that these notices are placed. The following is a list of recommended posting locations for 2023-2024 school year. Notices are also provided to our 6 municipalities. The 2023-24 recommended posting sites are the McFarland Thistle, Herald Independent, McFarland Cable Channel, McFarland Village Hall, ED Lock Public Library, One Community Bank, McFarland, McFarland House Cafe, School District of McFarland website, McFarland High School, Indian Mound Middle School, Wabisa Intermediate School, and Conrad Elvium Primary School. Do we,
No action.
we don't have
Just
any action on that,
informational.
I don't believe. School, then we'll move on to school safety written drill evaluation, notification, and review.
Yeah, so you see a couple administrative holds in the form of medical holds, and just sharing those with you. These seem to happen pretty routinely. A reminder that these medical holds are done just for the privacy of the staff and the students involved, and sometimes we need to transport from a location to the office or from the office to a ambulance.
Okay?
The one comment I would make is that I'm very impressed with the process that they use in analyzing what they did. And then identify ways to improve upon something that needs to be improved upon. Very, very well done.
I appreciate you pointing that out. They take it very seriously.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Okay, Tom, we have a board meeting summary for April.
Sure. And I shared this information, I try to do it monthly, because McFarland School District hosts WEVA. So I think it's in our best interest to just be a little familiar with what WEVA's about. Their belief statement is, they believe all students deserve an equitable education. They have a promise also. They promise to support students in personalized learning, no matter where they are, who they are, or what they need. Today's enrollment, 4,258 full-time students, with an average of 62% re-registration rate at this point in time. That will certainly increase between now and the fall.
No, that number doubled for the pandemic, something like
Oh,
that, didn't it?
It
That was
increased.
where they got their
Yeah.
huge.
I'm not sure how many
Their enrollment
left
number?
Yeah.
enrollment after the pandemic, but 216 full-time staff. They offer a virtual tutoring platform in the core curriculum areas, in other areas, which I wasn't totally familiar with until they were talking about recently. They do have 3 strategic planning goals: increase academic growth, 70% of their students met their growth goals, increase graduation rates. There was a 10% increase in their graduation rate, and there's a 10% decrease in withdrawals. So
That's excellent.
So as we've talked about all year, that whole withdrawal scenario, yeah, I think
Yep.
what they're doing is working. And I think they want to continue to work on that to even improve that.
Is that, I'm sorry to interrupt, is the withdrawal the same as this, like the transfers for
Back to
due
the-
to lack
Yes.
of
Yep.
engagement?
Mhm.
Okay, that's great.
Graduation will take place on June 7th at Madison College. There's going to be 2 ceremonies, 1 o'clock, Destinations Career Academy, and then 6 o'clock for the Wisconsin Virtual Academy and Insight School of Wisconsin.
I can remember attending their first graduation.
Is that right? Here in the gym here?
Not even in the
Oh,
gym.
okay.
I mean, we were in a room
Oh, you
someplace.
just had a handful of
I think there was
students.
12 kids.
Yeah, if that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last one I attended was over 100, I know, and most of them come. That was a problem they had in the past, is a lot of the students are spread all over the place, so it's difficult to get to walk in the graduation. But I think it's something that anybody in education should go to. The Weaver graduation is a different animal.
It is, but
It's really interesting.
there's also a lot of similarities.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, because they have the scholarships, they have
Yeah.
the special awards, the recognitions.
And it's grown so
And
much.
I think last year, I think it was 180 that
Yeah.
attended
Yeah,
graduation.
feels right.
And I noticed I think it was during the state tournaments,
Okay?
that they did a lot of advertising on TV, our
They
head of
did,
school.
yes.
And I thought those were just excellent.
Mhm.
She really, really came across well, I thought.
Yeah, it wasn't only K-12 Stride, but it was other virtual schools
Right.
that were advertising at the same time. But that concludes my report.
Okay, any questions or comments for Tom?
Thanks, Tom.
If not,
Sure.
Aaron, take it away. You can do your annual board development survey analysis.
Yeah, the first annual board survey development analysis. Oh, and I did it again, you guys. I do it every time.
The ding followed by the
I
I
other.
thought
always
someone was
forget.
tuning in,
I know, me too.
Yeah, I feel so bad for the
It
fine
was
people
just
that are,
just Aaron.
all right. So,
I know, I didn't mean it that way.
I don't feel bad. Oh, now I can't see my screen. Oh my gosh, you guys. So what we're going to be doing is you completed the survey tool during our work session, also known as a retreat in here on the 20th. And so I'm going to be sharing the analysis of those results with you. I have copies for you, but I'm putting it up here based on feedback from our audience, which is shared. Like sometimes we're looking at something and they can't see it. So
That's
this way they
amazing,
can see
thank you.
exactly what we're looking at very transparently. But this is a copy for you
Thank you.
to look over, and feel free to annotate as you would enjoy. We even made a copy for Mr. Mahoney in case you're curious.
Can I have a copy? I'm gonna give Megan a copy.
What, did I not give you one? Nope. Oh, well, sorry.
Is that because I said just Aaron?
How did I
Jeez.
skip that? I was moving so fast.
What did you
I probably don't either. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna walk you through the different sections. And feel free, this is a discussion. So this is, not some presentation, me talking. I'm just sharing the results with you in a quick summary. So what I did was, I went in and, divided kind of things between strengths and areas of growth. And I will say that, to be honest, the areas of growth are simply relative areas of growth. Everything was rated very highly across the areas, but I think it may provide direction for you as you set priority areas for how you could improve as a board. So feel free to jump in at any time as we go through this here today. So the first area of focus is data-driven decision-making. And for the public, it's probably pretty small for you to see on here. But when you see the purple color, that's a fully achieved, green is mostly achieved, yellow is partially achieved, red is not achieved or not started. A blue just means not sure. So you can kind of disregard the blue. When you see reds and yellows, it's like that's probably an area to think about, and greens and purples, that's an area of strength. So when you look at this, you shared that you feel like we manage by facts and decisions that are data-driven, and we have a schedule and a protocol to review data and program performance. So we have standard board reports for those things. Felt like we could do a little better job looking, benchmarking our results against other districts that are similar to us and looking at trends over time. We've done some of that, but we could do more of that. And looking at examining our data to help district leaders identify groups of students in need of additional support. And what I would say is that the district has really improved in our use of data and breaking it down by subgroups. We've not done a great job, sharing that in any great detail with you, and that's something we certainly could do. Those that were involved in the strategic planning kind of know the data I'm referring to. And then lastly, that we have a process to ensure we can, all students can participate in advanced coursework, the arts, and extracurricular programs. And as you can see there in the data, that was also an area where either people didn't know or had some questions or concerns about. So, any questions or comments on this area? Hearing none. Moving on to board operations. So this is an area, a very colorful area. This is where we have our first sight of some reds and our first fully purple. Idea honoring our decisions outside of the board meetings. I would say, by the way, I think this category was probably the strongest out of all the categories we're going to look at. The board really, you shared that you feel like people honor those decisions. They don't undermine others. That you only speak on behalf of the board and district when authorized. that the meetings are effective and efficient, that you come prepared and encourage constructive and professional discussions at board meetings. Areas of growth, which we're addressing, conducting a self-evaluation. We talked a little bit during our retreat about onboarding new board members, and I recently attended a training session on that I'll be able to share if and when we have new board members. And evaluating me at least annually with clear goals and performance criteria. So that's an area of growth. We've got a good start, being underway with a summative evaluation coming up soon. Any comments on this area? Culture, another area of real strength. Mutual respect, professional behavior, honoring differences of opinion, working with the superintendent. He was not asked to respond on this survey, but he would agree. A lot of focusing on strategic decisions, policy issues, rather than administrative implementation. So that's similar to that sort of, whose card is it idea. Culture of high expectations, recognizing people for their performance, students and staff in schools. And one of the questions was just about, kind of our community. Do they believe the district is effectively governed and makes decisions with the best interests of students in mind? Again, a relative area of concern. The comments were, basically like, I'm unwilling to give 100% to this because, the odds of that being 100%. So you're just being very cautious about your ratings in this area. Any thoughts about culture?
I'm proud of the culture.
Yeah, yeah, and that was
Extremely.
something we talked about in our work session
Yep, great.
quite a bit. All right, moving on to planning. You'll see some, a couple more not sures on this one, but having sound risk management practices in place that include regular review of the facilities, of looking at insurance options. So this annual review of non-instructional support services, feeling like, you don't need to realize, feeling like those are areas of strength. So that's one of the things I think this board does a really nice job at, is having kind of cycles of reports and information that we repeat annually. And then an area of growth is just continuing to explore sharing our services with other districts and local municipalities. Certainly our work with the village is something that we've discussed, something that we're very proud of, but continuing to expand that. Comments on planning? All right. Budgeting, another real area of strength. Understanding school finance, including state, federal, local sources of income, clear budget process that you understand, and like when referenda are needed, and that our community believes the district's responsible steward of financial resources. So this, I would say, in addition to the one I referenced earlier, another significant area of strength.
What are the two that, the areas of growth, I guess, we make staffing, I don't see it written out.
Yeah, there was just a little bit of yellow in there. Most of it was not.
And I don't remember what the entire thing was. I was trying to.
I think it's like we make staffing and something decisions, within financial limits or something.
And the next
like
one,
that.
we evaluate the district, and I don't remember exactly what that was either.
I can pull it up. I don't
Yeah,
want
it's
to share that with everybody right now, but I can pull it up.
okay.
I can stop sharing and pull that up.
No.
But really, it was about, kind of making our decisions based on our resources and priorities. All right, you're not very chatty, so we're gonna keep moving along, which is fine. District operations, some strengths about communicating our academic priorities and achievement results to parents and the public. That's something we're really working on continuing to do. that staff authority and responsibility is well-defined, and having a process together, feedback from teachers and other staff members to update our employee handbook and personnel policies. So that refers to our professional staff and support staff employee relations committees. One of the areas of growth, and there was even a comment about this, was making sure that we have initiatives for succession in key administrative positions, so that we're prepared, so that it's not like if that person leaves, there's nothing there and we're starting from scratch. That was a concern. Sharon.
Yeah, I think it would be beneficial if we articulated more about grow our own.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically, that's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a good thing. So I think, to me, if we reference things like grooming people to take on other responsibilities, for me, if we classify it under grow on your own,
Mm-hmm.
it's a mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, it can be institutionalized. So it's just a matter of.
It's a great marketing
practice.
tool, too.
It is.
You know, that's another one of those things beyond salary that separates us from a lot of districts.
Very much so.
And I think it is one of those things that we could make more of a point of doing. Certainly, there was, a hire that was on the board agenda tonight that reflects that. I am someone who has been a part of that. Angie Burnett, Student Services Coordinator from School Psychologist. I know that one of the things that the principals are starting to make more of an initiative of, and I would say Corey at Wabisa being one that really comes to mind, is encouraging current professional staff to pursue aspiring administrator opportunities, just to check into that. So that, I think, falls in line with that.
I think that's excellent.
Yeah. For my understanding or interpretation of this was really also about, kind of what we've been talking about, like giving our staff and ways to develop themselves and continue to feel challenged, but also as risk management, right? Because that's a big deal if we start, losing key people and don't have a plan or someone as backup. So, yeah. that's great.
Yeah, and I would say as a district office cabinet team, that's something that we talk about often. There's unique things about each of our roles, but we share a lot about what we're doing, and so that it's not all contingent upon one person.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, community engagement. You see a couple more reds here, so we've got some more areas of growth. Certainly addressing students' interest through extracurricular program, that's a real strength of the district. Attending district and community events when possible, having partnerships with businesses, service organizations, that's something that's a strength of the board. And then areas of growth, continuing to communicate our financial needs to the public in an easy to understand format. You recall we did in the fall, after we adopted the budget, we sent something out to communicate that. So that's something that we'll continue to do, particularly as we approach a likely referendum. And then a lot of stuff, the next ones are all about legislative involvement. And that varies from board to board, to their comfort, availability to, discuss legislative issues, to communicate with legislators, and invite them to the facility. All right, policy, another area of strength here. Clear policies that promote safe schools. We have a process to review them, which I'll be putting in the minutes. I just met with our Neola representative today about some of those things. Getting updates on our programming. Again, that comes to those reports that we do on a regular basis. And a well-communicated school safety and crisis response plan, which we just discussed. One of the things that came up, an area of growth, is having appropriate interventions and consequences for all staff in schools that do not meet expectations. So that's kind of the middle one where you see, a little blue and then a little yellow. And then, successfully attracting, retaining high-quality employees. Certainly, that is something we do well, but there's always improvement there. Thoughts about this area? Okay. Vision, last but not least. Do we have vision? Yes. Our vision is student achievement with clear strategies to accomplish our vision. And I think communicating that and, I put this one in both of them because it was kind of like a mixed bag, the clear strategies. But one of the comments, which I would also support, is just that that's the work that we're doing with the strategic plan. It's
Right.
communicating our vision to parents of the community. So that, summarizes the report, certainly much to celebrate, and a few areas. I welcome any further questions, comments for you. This is your board, so anything you want to share?
Anybody got anything?
Sure.
Go ahead.
So the expectation is that when we take this again next spring,
Yes.
we'll see fewer, maybe no blues. Okay?
Yes?
Less yellows
Mhm.
Correct.
and more green and purple.
Yep, exactly.
Now, because it was a school perceptions one, would it be, are we gonna be able to compare it that easily? Like, will the questions be mostly the same?
That's my-
Yes.
that's my
Yeah,
point.
Yeah.
okay,
Mhm.
okay,
Yeah, and those are questions that are based on research about effective boards.
okay, all right.
And I feel like it's clear that as a board, we're all on the same page in terms of trends, that we're working on being better communicators with the community. We're working on educating the community to a higher degree so that, our relationship with them is easier to navigate. And I think we're aware of what we need to do, and I think we also have a pretty good idea of what it's gonna take to get there. And I feel real confident that this is a great first step and will give us direction. And I would expect to see improvement each year. If not, then we'll figure out a way to do it differently.
I think with.
Oh, go ahead.
With our goals of being more transparent and more communicative, I think this is to piggyback what you're saying, it's a really good next step. And it allows the public be able to hold us more accountable too, which is also a big part of the evaluation process. There's no point in evaluating ourselves if no one's gonna tell us when we're falling down on our jobs.
We have to welcome
so.
accountability.
Right, yeah.
Well,
So that's
hopefully,
good.
we hold ourselves more accountable than anybody else.
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we did this in April. We really probably have to do it in April if there's gonna be a changeover in board members.
Before
like
the
Because that really
before?
would impact the initial. So if they have a year experience, that helps
a lot
to
of
be able
blue.
to answer some of these questions.
I would agree with that statement.
So I attended, there were some sessions that I attended last week for first-year superintendents and intendants, and one of the things they really recommended was using this tool. And so I was excited to say that we did. Some boards do complete this tool twice, one in the fall and then one in the spring. Most boards do it when we did it, like February, March, April, that kind of a time before there's a changeover. So that's what we're trying to do, we're working together based on our work session conversation to set up when our work sessions are gonna be, so that we can plan those, when my evaluation meetings will be, so that that's part of our calendar.
So can we as a board make the commitment that we will administer this survey to ourselves for the next 5 years?
I have no problem.
Yeah.
I have no
Sounds
problem
great.
with that. I just assumed it was gonna be an annual thing from here on
I don't think we can make assumptions.
out. Yeah, given our history, you're probably right, yeah.
I can say as long as you'll have me, which hopefully will be more than 5 years, is I think what I appreciate about the board being not only open to do this, but asking for this, is that it's a model for the rest of the district about accountability. And I think what ended up happening, just for the public, is, you completed this during our work session, and we're sharing the results during an open meeting, and I think that just models transparency. That's really
Exactly.
good. I'm not sure anybody's still tuned in after that lengthy explanation, but I think it does model
Yeah,
that.
but it's really a good marketing tool, again,
Mhm.
for hiring new staff.
Yep.
Or for families that are coming in.
Yep. Yep.
And I think I guess I didn't think about asking for a commitment either, because I guess in my mind, if it's something that we're starting, it's just, I think it would be an expectation of what the board would do every year, and it's just part of the job. I'm certainly 100% willing to make that commitment, but it feels like it should be an expectation of the job. This is what we do every April, or every February or March.
Yep.
And new board members should just know that that's what's gonna happen.
We
But-
would expect our district administrator to keep us on task.
Yes, I think it's important I keep my bosses on task.
Yeah.
It is important.
But thank you for being clear about it.
And specifically, I was referring to using this same tool
Oh,
for 5 straight
yes.
years.
I think so.
Oh, I see.
I just
I
want to
agree.
say,
Yeah.
Tom, because I'm
Appreciate it.
always a little dubious about this continuous improvement. And I think it's good, but we're dealing with people, and I will tell you, both as an educator and now as a school board member, I would have a hard time always thinking that we've fully achieved anything. Even when I was coaching state championship teams, I would have said, well, I could have done better here. And likewise, I could have had a team or a class that, wasn't so great, but I would say, we mostly achieved about what we could do. So I found this to be very valuable, and I commend you for having us take it.
Yeah,
But
agreed.
I don't know if you're gonna see, well, it was all green and now it's all purple. I don't know.
Not all.
Because I just think realistically, you'll always find ways to make things better. And probably, that's just the way nature is.
Well, we wouldn't be in that growth mindset that we push to our students
Yeah, I
if
agree.
it was
Yeah.
all purple,
So-
right?
Yeah.
I'm willing to take bets that it'll never be all purple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. Excellent.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Yep.
thank
You
you.
get more of me, too.
District Administrator's Report. Aaron,
All right.
Take it away.
I'm actually going to start with the pictures, because that also includes some of my recognitions in there, so I'm going to do that. Some of these things, Joey did an excellent job sharing about. I don't know if you saw the Tarnitors Travels, where we were, Bucky's back. And Mr. Mooney will appreciate this, based on his experience. They really get excited for Bucky. I mean, it's like celebrity. In the high fives, that's like a big deal. I think some kids didn't wash their hands for a while. So it was really exciting, and it was what I didn't think about as I was going to this event was how neat it would be to see our high school students playing music, as Bucky came. That was just a really nice.
And they've
anytime
always
you can
done
do
that.
Yeah, so neat.
That is very cool.
So the fun event.
It's not fun if it's raining and it's inside the gym.
Yeah, it was actually hot that day.
Yeah.
So you can see all the people in shorts. Remember that when we wore shorts?
Yeah, when we
Couple
didn't still
weeks
have
ago.
our
For a
winter jackets.
Yeah, so it's a historical fiction reading unit project. So you can see them creating models, and then you can see they're highlighting their piece of writing here. So one of the things is you want to make sure that we can, share our writing with one another. So
What
neat
class was that?
project.
Do you know?
I think it was in language arts, English language arts
Okay.
in fifth grade.
Those are some cool dioramas.
Yeah, right?
I don't know what they call them those days, but
Impressive.
these days, but that's what we call them in art.
That's what
Yeah, high quality.
Those are cool.
Yeah, so the math teams, very exciting. I know I put that in the minutes, but 5th and 6th grade and 7th and 8th grade, this is our 5th and 6th grade, did very well. 5th and 6th grade teams placed 2nd and 3rd, and one of the 7th and 8th grade teams placed 1st in the math competition, with some individuals actually placing 1st as well, so. exciting, so proud. I think some of you made it to the Alternative Energy Fair, the second annual, so it's become a unit that one of the, Kelly Chadish brought to our school when she arrived, and neat project where they create these models of solving real-world energy problems. And then they pitch them to you. They try to
The pitch
convince
was
you
fun.
to invest.
That was
Yeah.
fun.
So,
We each had $1 million to invest. So they handed us $1 million as we walked in the door.
so it's neat because it's not just the content,
Right,
but it's also speaking and listening skills,
yep.
which, cut across, we call that content literacy in the biz.
It was very well attended.
Yeah.
It actually became an issue. There were so many people in
Oh,
there.
yeah?
It was hard to hear the kids doing their pitch.
It's awesome. They all hope, and then there ends up being a winner. I don't know much about this, but Wisconsin Operators Engineering Externship Day, so you can see them getting to see things in real life. And, I have to say, okay, so we're talking about high schoolers, but there's like a little kid inside of there in some ways, right?
Yeah.
Like that is something you can take your kids and watch someone work that
Playing
machinery.
in the dirt.
Yeah.
Is
So,
that in Coloma?
must have been.
Is that
I
where that is?
don't know.
Yeah.
Do you
I
think so? Okay. But
That's
really
amazing. I
neat-
mean, that's
neat
a,
thing.
The Whisperer is saying,
Yeah. the whisper.
what an opportunity
Thank you.
that, to have a facility like
It
that
is.
where they can go get practical instruction like
So
that.
cool. And
Yeah.
that we have people willing to take our kids there.
There's a lot of job, I mean, that's a market that
Oh, yeah.
pays extraordinarily well, and they couldn't fill all the positions.
Yep, they just want you to have a positive attitude, and they will train you
Yeah,
and work hard.
it's cool.
You heard about DECA, a little bit from Joey, 24,000 people at this conference, and for us to do as well, and just even getting there, so, just a really, really neat thing.
and that's worldwide, correct?
Yeah, and what a life-changing experience,
Amazing.
certainly for them. Prom court, so prom's coming up this weekend, and again, shout outs to Angie Bazan for finding a place at the last minute. I'm excited for that.
Is that this week?
Yep,
Yes,
Saturday.
this Saturday. Excited for that. And then you heard about Eco Club, so we were reminded to be turning off our computer and our lights and all those things, some simple things. And I will tell you that I've been doing it at home more and more. Ever since I've been getting those reminders, I've been more conscious of it, so.
And Raquel said, we won by like over 60 points?
60 points.
Yeah.
We had 460 points, and that's 60 points higher, so
Yeah.
400
Yeah.
in the last
Did
one.
do we know what that might have monetized to? Are there
I
any
don't know.
whispers
I
from the
don't know.
crowd?
I don't know that.
A lot of their competition was not necessarily all about
Megawatts?
the megawatts or the watts. A lot of it was about their ideas for initiatives
Oh, okay.
and some of the ideas they had for educating.
Oh, interesting, okay. I remember when it
You
first
the
came
Eco
out.
Club then too?
Yes, off and on.
I know
Certainly get
you've
pulled
done
in.
stuff, that's wonderful.
That's cool,
Mhm. Yeah, they need data and things, and
yeah.
it's a good partnership. Of course, Optimist Senior of the Month, Jack Schrammel, certainly very deserving. I think also there was an article in the paper about him
Yeah.
in baseball, I think.
Baseball
Didn't I just
today.
read that?
Yeah, sports section.
He's
Oh, a lot of
excellent-
PR.
Excellent baseball player.
Yeah, really, really nice person. Administrative Professionals Day was last week, and interestingly, they scheduled a conference for me off that day, so gave Angie the gift of not having to deal with me on that day. So appreciate it, I think. But a wonderful day, and I think, for those that don't know, that's really the heart of the school and the backbone of everything that we do. So wonderful recognition there. We also, today is School Principals Day. There, so you can see our outstanding 4 principals, and of course our associate principals as well, but they have a separate day to honor them. And Physical Education Week. Look at that team. Love, Angie puts these together and they just look so polished. What a great team. Look at those smiles, wouldn't you? I would run for these people. And they do. It's amazing to see what students will do for them. They're so positive and encouraging of students and all abilities, you know? That's just wonderful. I think
Yeah,
that,
it's just another indication about the quality of staff
Yeah.
that we have here in McFarland.
very true. All right, and that's the recognition, or the slideshow part. And then a couple other things you may have seen in the Tarnitors Travels. Real World Day at the middle school, always a great event, was able to get up there and check that out. That should be something I should promote with you a little bit. Even if you were able to, you know, just take a walk around, I think you would think it was really an interesting thing to see. But it's part of our academic and career planning program. Of course, last night we had the Academic Scholars event in Edgerton, and Megan and Tom joined us for that, recognizing the top 10. Our last time going to Edgerton to be part of the Rock Valley Conference, to recognize that. Next year, we'll have the opportunity to be part of 16 schools in the Badger Conference for that 7-hour event. Just roughly, I'm estimating. But a nice event, and it's so great to see the families. And one of the things I noticed, this is my first time, of course, going to this event, was the siblings that were there, and kind of just a neat thing to see the siblings.
You
know.
probably knew many of them, didn't you,
I knew
Aaron?
them all,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really neat.
That's
Yeah, that
nice.
was neat. Thank you. That was happy for me. And then we have some things coming up, some recognitions. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, Asian and Pacific Island Heritage Month. We also have coming up tomorrow is Sullivan's Message. So this is Kathy sharing about Taylor's message, which was her 17-year-old daughter that passed away from alcohol intoxication after attending a party. And then Chris, a former football player with the Patriots, which we won't hold against him, presents about his own struggles with substance abuse, anxiety, and depression. So there'll be a session during the day for students, and then an evening session at 6:30 to 8 that is sponsored by Radar.
Yeah. Do you have a location for that, Aaron?
I think it's in the Performing
PAC?
Arts Center.
Okay.
I can check.
Okay. I'll find
while
out tomorrow.
We're talking, but I assumed it was there, so sometimes I just assumed and I don't look. But I will check on
Was
that.
that 6:30 to 8?
6:30 to 8,
yeah.
yes.
Dang it.
Yeah.
I know, there's so many things going on this
Yeah,
month.
but what a great thing. I'm going to stall, and then I will. It just says the high school, so I'm sure that's where it is. I'm sure it's in the PAC. Yeah, at the high school. That's where it should be. In our beautiful Performing Arts Center. No offense, Edgerton, but
Theirs was also very nice, but yes.
it
ours-
was nice.
We will be very ready to
Yeah,
host many great events in our next
that
conference,
is true.
as you pointed out last night.
High school band concert coming up this week. On Wednesday, we also have our joint village school board meeting at 6 for the land acknowledgement, first time ever.
Everybody's good to go on
Yep.
that?
We'll be set for that. We have the second grade music program coming up on Thursday. Friday is School Lunch Hero Day, also a Staff Development Day, so I guess that's how we recognize our lunch heroes, is a day off. And then we have prom this weekend, Teacher Appreciation Week next week, School Nurse Day next week, 7th and 8th grade band concert on the 11th. And then our next school board meeting is on the 15th. A reminder, that is an early start. I think a 5 o'clock start
Yep.
for the board meeting. And then that's also 5th grade music and art show night. One of the things I wanted to mention, I think Tom asked me about, or somebody asked, one of you asked me about, but I wanted to remind you that the last day for staff is June 9th. And we will be having the 7:30 breakfast and then 8 o'clock recognition. So that replaces our previous evening recognition thing. So you're certainly all welcome to come and attend that.
That's a great event.
Celebrate our retirees, 25 years, and Cole nominees.
Is that just for the high school, or is that for the whole district?
The whole district, yeah. All of the district staff are, will be in attendance in the Performing Arts Center
Okay.
on Friday.
It looked like everybody was gonna make it too, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think there was only one or two that maybe couldn't. That's excellent.
Yeah. Yes.
A little bit of information. If the original calendar invitation is correct, it's going to be an agent, Sullivan's message.
Sullivan's message,
okay.
all right.
Unless they change location, but the original.
Yeah, and okay, for the evening thing too?
That's tomorrow night.
Or is that just for the day
This is, oh,
thing?
maybe it's for the
Tomorrow
students,
night,
the 9 o'clock.
Yeah. We'll be here.
Okay.
All right. I think that's it. That concludes my report.
Any questions or comments?
The only comment I would have, having attended the Academic Excellence Award night last night, yeah, just seeing all those outstanding scholars on the stage, I think, let's invite all 100 of them into a think tank and see what their
Yeah.
solutions would be to some of today's issues out there.
Right?
Because they don't have the biases like the adults have. It was very powerful. You know, it's interesting to see what they're pursuing after high school.
Yeah.
A very diverse group.
Yes. Yeah, interesting. We had 8 out of our 10 are attending UW-Madison.
Really?
That's unusual, isn't it?
That is unusual.
Yeah.
That's why I pointed it out, because Mr. Finstead was surprised.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
There was
yeah,
one
you're
group-
right. I love that.
There's one school too, do you remember which one it was? And it was all
All
women,
Yeah.
and I think 8 out of the 10 of them were going into STEM
Oh.
fields.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, I
really,
forget which one it was.
I know, shoot, but it was real, we were like, whoa.
That's a sweet spot. I mean, that's
Yeah.
where you really need,
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
that's
it was
excellent.
cool. There was a lot of STEM
yes, there was.
in all the students last night. It was really interesting.
So regardless of what some public might say about public education, we proved them wrong last night.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
Gives you faith,
Yep, very much so.
that's for sure. Well said. Mr. Mahoney,
Here,
Present.
would you care to proceed?
you bet.
Thank you.
Angie's gonna put this up on the screen so
There we
the
go.
public can continue to see information. That's always pivotal. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there watching this tonight. So, budget update, trying to stay on task here. We go to page 2, what we're working on. Well, you know, I did the estimates in December and usually really much better than this, but, you know, our 4K is coming in about 30 less than expected, and our kindergarten is 20 less than expected. Usually, we're pretty solid with having about, our move-ins from 4K to kindergarten have about 25, 28 more that might not have been in 4K. It's our increase that we usually see, and they're not there. So, you know, we continue to see where our class sizes are gonna be, and we'll continue to make adjustments as needed. But yeah, it's, we knew the trend was coming, of, you know, less births, and we haven't hit the pandemic year births, impacts, and those were supposed to be, you know, kind of showing the numbers, that we're seeing earlier. Part of that, again, though, is also that housing market is really tight. It's tight everywhere, so there's not a lot of movement. So, you know, I'm hoping, you know, maybe there's some 4K and kindergarten parents that forgot to sign up for registration, haven't seen all those wonderful messages, but we will have to, in subsequent fiscal years, likely have to, which is a wonderful thing, get back into having space for open enrollment.
Mhm.
You know, that, we peaked at nearly 350 30 open enrollment students. And
Amazing.
actually, those largest classes are going through the high school right now. And we've had 4 years of no space.
Yeah.
But in 24, 25, we certainly will either have the enrollment there or we'll have to infill. But
That's
it's
a great
com-
problem to have.
True.
It's a great problem to have, but it is, significantly different. It's a couple of years earlier than I thought it was gonna happen, so.
So Jeff, are you saying that due to the pandemic, there's less births coming through?
Yeah, the data is showing for the year leading into the pandemic and then the pandemic, and then early release data is,
Mhm.
showing less babies.
Yeah,
So-
and that is, 70-some% of districts have declining enrollment.
Isn't that surprising though? Wouldn't you think when everybody's
Well, no, there
home
was a lot
together all
of,
the time?
there was a lot of unknowns,
There's a
and
lot
then
of
now,
unknowns.
like, there's still unknowns, right?
True.
with-
Right.
Yeah.
Wasn't the ice storms of the
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
1976.
76,
Right.
as you bet it was.
Right,
So,
yeah.
but, we're fortunate in that, these are 2 areas that we can manage really well, and move forward through, so, but if we do get more kids, it'll be great. Staffing changes, we can continue to, post, interview, and hire. Our principals are doing a great job. We've, brought in many applicants for many of the positions and hired many of the top candidates, so things are going well. We continue to always be looking at where revenues are headed and expenses, even though our fiscal year does start July 1, a lot of information still coming from the state. As a reminder, Bruce, did you have a question?
Or not coming from the state, I was
Or,
gonna,
yeah, or not coming from the state, that's,
sorry.
Editorial.
yeah. Just a reminder, this slide, I'm be honest, did not change from February, which is that, in 22-23, we're using 2.2 million of ESSER funds, one-time money. And 23-24, at this point, we're predicting 3.4 million of our remaining ESSER funds will, again, one-time funds will fix our budget for next year. As Joint Finance had told us, that, do that for 2 years, we'll fix you later. At
We'll
this
see.
point, 24, 25, if we don't see any flexibility from Joint Finance and the governor, we'll have to, look at having a referendum to, move forward in 24, 25. On the expense side, just a reminder, 76% of our costs are wage benefit. We've had 5.5 average wage changes the last 4 years. We've been balancing again with ESSER funds. And, just a reminder, I think the big key takeaway I hope our community always pays attention to is every time we have 1% growth in our salaries and benefits, it's a $300,000 expense, and it's what drives, because we're in a people industry. We have people, we're educating people and taking care of people, so how fortunate are we to have a continued strong public education system here in McFarland. So again, referendum likely, the early estimate back in February was 4.2 million. So back in January, DPI was telling us they're pushing forward with joint finance recommendations for $350 and $650 in the per pupil revenue cap inflationary adjustments. So that would be $1,000 over 2 years' time. If joint finance did take that, it'd help us by 1.5 million. If our referendum would be 4.2 million, if we didn't get any funds or revenue abilities, that would, decrease by 1.5 million. So, we could be at a $2.7 million referendum. But the great news is the next slide. Because now I think I'm talking about if-then statements and what if-then this kind of statement. The Legislative Fiscal Bureau did put out to joint finance because they asked, what would it have taken for districts to not have these fiscal cliffs come 23-24 and 24-25? Well, if we were given $1,107 for this coming year's per pupil adjustment, and then the following year another 403, that would give us quite a bit more money. It'd give us $2.8 million more in combined resource money, and that means both state aid and property tax. Additionally, if joint finance would follow what the Legislative Fiscal Bureau analyzed, that if they went from 31.5% special education aid reimbursement, which for every dollar we spend, they give us 30 cents on the dollar back. If they went to 60 cents, which goes actually back to the 70s when they said they were gonna take care of 90%. Boy, wouldn't it be great if we'd get 60%? Because that'd mean 1.8 million. Then, no referendum. That would be unlikely. And I don't think the joint finance, if they actually got to this point and did this, I think they'd be crafting language that would affect other districts' past referendums. So what have I really provided you tonight? There's a chance, doubtful, that in 24, 25, and for future years we'll be going for a referendum. But I do believe there's a $0 to $1 amount that we will need for 24, 25, and beyond. And which does mean that, you know, in our planning, we will start to have to look at getting ready for a notice by our school board for how much money and how many years of a referendum, no later than December 12th of this year. If we are to use the February primary, we would be having to make notice to our public in January if we were to use the April regular election. So there's a certain number of days that we have to give notice for. Other things that we're working on, we'll continue to evaluate revenues and expense. Our professional staff and our support staff, upcoming meetings, we'll be talking about salary and wages. And we hope to conclude much of those conversations by the early first June meeting for our school board. So lots going on behind the scenes, but kind of waiting on, as we've done every year, the last 26 I've been doing this, every other year is kind of this wait and see what's going to happen with joint finance so our public school districts can figure out what the heck they have to do in response.
This is where your comment, Tom, about, and Megan, for what you saw yesterday, last night, the public needs to know. This is what public schools can do and are doing, and we need to have that same support from our state legislature.
And they've been doing it for a long time with inadequate resources.
Yeah.
You know, it's been 10 years, 12 years.
Yeah.
Anybody else got anything else? Questions
Jeff, a
for
couple
Jeff?
things. So, at one time, the legislators were talking about referendums would have to be held during a regular election. So that's not a question.
That law fell off.
Okay, good.
That's great.
The second thing is
But we still
kindergarten.
have to, they still left the piece in about a certain number of days ahead
Okay.
of, which is
Okay.
great.
The second thing would be the kindergarten
Yep.
going down one session.
Yep.
When they're starting at 20 per class. I have a concern about that if we have incoming students. And I'm not sure how many typically we have incoming kindergarten students once school starts. But with the mental health and the discipline, everything that's out there, you know, the social emotional piece, you know, to me, having smaller kindergarten classrooms would be best for kids.
Well, as you might remember when, you know, you and I had the opportunity to work together, we've
Mhm.
made hires into August.
I know.
We've even looked at You know, if we had 6 more enrollments, 10 more enrollments, do we look at having someone that can support those 7 sections with different pullouts? So we've been creative every year. Right now, yes, we have 7 teachers that are currently here, which matches our current 140. You know, looking at the data, the data usually shows between now and then we start to see a few more move-outs than move-ins. It's just this other 25, 28 kids that normally would have not been a part of our 4K program haven't come from either their home-based programming or some other kind of programming. So it's interesting. And then that really low 4K class behind them, we certainly have to be mindful of. So, you know, we'll staff once we start seeing some numbers and make decisions that'll help those classes. But
And I think the explanation is clear, you know, but I will always continue to advocate for our youngest learners here in the district.
20 per class is pretty, that's a good
20, yeah,
target.
but
Yeah.
let's start increasing it,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
would
and I
start.
think that, yeah, the commitment to be responsive
Yeah,
to
and I like
changes
that.
in enrollment
Yeah.
and, you know, I think it is important that when we, you know, we discuss these and we make these decisions collaboratively, that we're thoughtful about the future years. Because we will have a, you know, through attrition, be down to 7 sections in kindergarten and to, you know, we have to be cautious about hiring someone and then knowing the next year because of the 4K numbers, we're likely to be at 7 sections and then you have a staff member you just hired and now you're letting go and, but we're certainly monitoring it.
Yeah, and I think, you know, as
Closely.
you mentioned, Jeff, if there's other staff in the building or whatever that can further support
Yeah.
some of these students.
We've done that.
You know, regrouping of kids for reading or math or whatever.
Yep,
So-
and we've done that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I appreciate that.
you bet.
Anything else? Okay, moving on, we have some action items. The first.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. Drive careful. Discussion and potential action on formation of committee to review current building names. This is a follow-up to our previous discussion about renaming school facilities, Conrad Albion Primary School and Indian Mound Middle School. Per policy 7250, commemoration of school facilities, the board may appoint a facilities naming committee. If a board member is interested in appointing a committee, the following, we can make a motion. So, discussion? Aaron, have you got anything you'd like to?
Well, you know, I tried to provide a summary for you at the last meeting of the, in my time, the 2 that we've been aware of. You know, one came through a student, Riley Brown, who shared with us at the last board meeting concerns about Conrad Albium's history related to racial covenants, and then just the name Indian Mound Middle School, which I had shared was, per representatives from the Ho-Chunk Nation, has been termed to be not offensive, somewhat out of date, those terms. So, you know, if the board was interested in formally responding to those, either of those or neither of those requests, it's really up to the board. What I would advise is you're not required to form, you know, per the policy, you're not required to form a facilities committee. I would recommend that as a process if you're interested in pursuing it. But the board could not respond at this point, and at which point it wouldn't go any further.
How are we feeling?
I'm
Somebody wanna
definitely,
start?
in support of taking a look at renaming, based on the information that we learned last week. And I think the information that you provided, Aaron, about Indian Mound Middle School, the history, that's important also.
One or both?
Well, I'll say SEPs at this point.
What did you say?
Conrad Albion Primary School.
Yeah, okay.
Megan?
Yeah, I'm in support of it. I mean, to Aaron's point from last meeting, I think it's a big undertaking and we have to be really sensitive about it. But I mean, that goes for both ways because I think it could be equally insensitive to not do it. And it really fits with our strategic plan to pursue that. And I would, I think if we're gonna ask for people's time to do it, we should do it for all the facilities. Or, because it would be rebranding for all, it feels like if we're just gonna do it for one building, we might as well do it like it would be efficient to do it for all. I could be wrong about that assumption. And just to make sure, it would probably be the same type of research for each building, so.
I wouldn't imagine the high school would be much of an issue, just McFarland High School, but.
Well, I think it's,
I think we have to be careful, though, because do any of us really know the background of McFarland?
right.
I don't.
It's still a last
Oh, you
person's
mean the
name.
family?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's something to consider,
and that's why you're
you know.
saying all
Sure.
the schools.
Yes,
Yeah.
because it's, there's, every day we're learning more about history, right? And so choosing to name after people or even locations, you never know what we're gonna learn. And so it would be worth checking into that history too, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I would say just to interject, one of the things that I have seen in other communities who have considered renaming multiple buildings was kind of taking one at a time. And then, going through one process at a time, just capacity wise.
I think Madison has kind of chosen that route.
That was the district that I was considering, yes. It's just an option, I'm
Yeah.
not saying, but it certainly is an option as well.
Yeah, I would concur with that. I just think you'd be just taking on an awful lot. I think it's important, you mentioned this really, I think you said it perfectly at our last board meeting, Aaron. It's a very controversial topic, and I think the key is gonna be, we really have to be transparent. And so in some ways, I'm in favor of it, but I just realize it's very controversial. And so I think it's really important that, when we come to getting a committee together, you wanna have the representative views. If you start stacking it and say, well, we'd study this, I think you're gonna end up creating a mess. And so I think it's really important to give people an opportunity to give their opinions.
All viewpoints.
You have to. And I think that's gonna be the important thing, and then you go from there. But I would limit it right now to just, Conrad Elvin, personally.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Bruce. I think we need to be thoughtful about this and know that there's many viewpoints on it. So I'm fine with forming a committee, but I would limit it just to Conrad Albium at this point.
I think we've got consensus. But I don't, you can't emphasize enough probably that this is gonna be a big deal. It's gonna be controversial. I think the further down the road we get and the more of these facilities and, companies that maybe will require some vetting, there's gonna be a demographic that says that's enough.
Yeah.
We don't need to do this stuff anymore.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be pushback, so I think you have to have the committee's gotta be the right content. You've gotta have all those points of views represented. And like Kate said, well, like everyone has said, that this needs to be a thoughtful, well vetted. If it takes a long time, it'll take a long time.
Yeah.
But this
To
is
do it right.
something that you have to get right.
I just really want to make sure we have the right group of people on the committee.
Correct.
That is 100% the biggest thing, is they can't all feel the same way,
Right.
because we need to be able to hear different points of view.
We do have a guiding light, though, and that is our district mission and vision,
That's
and
right.
our strategic plan
Yep.
now
It all
also.
falls into place on this,
Yep.
I believe.
Well, and I think we'd be doing a disservice, quite honestly, to this young student. Riley's done some interesting work, and I think we should follow up on it. I think it's a great experience for her as well.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and make a motion. I would move to appoint a facilities naming committee to explore the possibility of renaming Conrad Albion Primary School.
I will second that.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Who seconded that one?
I did.
Bruce? Okay, action on the 2023-2024 CISA 2 contract. Administration recommends the district sign the CISA 2 contract for the educational services that are provided. If we are in agreement of this, I would entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the 2023-24 CISA contract as recommended by administration.
Thank you, Tom. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Kate. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Action on regular meeting date change. The June 19th board meeting falls on the federal holiday of Juneteenth. As a result, administration recommends changing the June 19th, 2023 regular school board meeting date to June 26th, 2023. I would look for a motion if we see no problem with this.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Bruce. Do I have a second?
I can second that.
Thank you, Megan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Action on revised McFarland High School Fall Early College Credit and Start College Now program requests. Given that the AP Calculus will not be offered next year, 23-24, due to changes in the 23-24 course offerings, administration recommends a revision to the previous program requests and denials that were approved by the board on April 17th, 2023.
Can I ask a question about that, Aaron?
Yes.
I don't know if you can answer that. Is that just kind of a one-year thing? Again, we shouldn't be micromanaging, but I was just wondering, is that typical? I mean, I can understand you might go every other year, but I would assume last year it was
I
taught?
don't know, what do you think, Aaron?
I don't know the history of
I don't
when the
either. I
course
just
isn't
couldn't.
offered, but, I mean, I can just say, just from year to year, based on making sure we have, with existing staffing, what we're able to
Yeah.
provide based on
And-
student enrollment,
And we
so.
were looking at, what, 10 kids probably, something like that?
It feels about right, I mean, I guess you
Yeah,
could
I'm
look
trying
on
to think what it
the,
was.
It was somewhere in there.
Approval.
Yeah.
yeah, but they, had initially thought they would, but based on,
And then the other, just
Balance
dumb
out the
question, the
schedule.
reason they do the two different places is obviously they're probably looking at schedule. If one offers it at a time that's more convenient, they would go there
Mhm.
versus the other.
Right.
Okay, that's what I figured. All right.
If
thank you.
we don't have issues with that, I would look for a motion.
I can make that.
Thank you, Bruce.
I'll second.
Thank you, Kate. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Let's see, next is action on recommended WEVA.
No.
We had
Yeah,
another
well,
one, but
yeah.
we're gonna pass on that
Oh,
one. There's been some change in
Oh, there has.
circumstance.
Okay.
And Paul asked that we delay that for
Yeah, future board meeting.
a future board
Yeah.
meeting.
There's just some details we need
Okay.
to iron out.
Action on the recommended WEVA Destinations Career Academy and Insight School of Wisconsin, Wisconsin Statute 118.408G, student transfers to resident districts. At this time, WEVA Destinations Career Academy and Insight School of Wisconsin are requesting approval of the recommended student transfers back to their resident districts due to lack of engagement. Any discussion? Or I would look for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Kate. Second,
I can second that.
Megan. Discussion?
Yeah, just to review, 3 kindergarten students, 1/3, 1/4 grade student will be withdrawn from WEVA. I understand why, but it is not a good thing. I don't
Not
feel
the
good
young.
about it. And it appears the state isn't doing anything to help support these families and kids. But that's just my comment.
Yeah, and I believe once this is approved, you kind of lose track. You
We can,
you're
yep.
not really aware if they do indeed actually enroll in their home districts. Historically, it's, the anecdotal evidence is that they don't.
Yeah, and this isn't new information.
Right.
But it's important information to keep in front of us at all
Hopefully
times.
there'll be less of these
Mhm.
moving forward.
It does feel like it's less. I don't actually know,
Uh-huh.
but it seems like there's less earlier grades than there have been in the past transfers.
And,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
given the path that we kind of see the school headed, it wouldn't surprise me if there's less.
Exactly.
I think things are getting better,
I think so.
so,
Agreed.
all right. I would look for a motion then? No, right, we did that.
Yep.
Never
Yep.
mind.
Do we have to-
I just need
Yeah.
to vote,
We just
right?
have to vote.
Yeah, we just have to vote.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And on to election of officers. I will serve as the presiding officer, and I would entertain a motion to begin the process of election of officers.
I'll move to do so.
Thank you. Thank you, Megan. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Who seconded that one?
Mooney.
Mooney.
I did.
Yeah, okay. So we will begin, are there nominations for the office of president?
Yes, I'll nominate Craig.
Thank you very much, Tom.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Thank you, Kate. Do I have any other nominations for president? Going once, going twice, you're gonna be stuck with me. Okay,
Thankfully.
thank you very much. Now, do we still need to vote on the nomination?
I don't know, how does that work?
Mm-hmm.
And I believe you're recording these, right?
Yeah, do you guys want?
Well,
Yes, you need to
Yes,
vote.
you would need to vote.
All right, having no other nominations, all those in favor of Craig Howry as president for the upcoming year, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
who seconded that again?
I did.
That you did, okay, all right.
Carries 5-0, and thank you very much. Nominations for the office of vice president.
I will nominate Tom Mooney.
Okay. Thank you, Bruce.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Kate. Any other nominations for vice president? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of Tom Mooney to serve as vice president for the upcoming year, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations, Tom. Election of clerk of the board.
I'd like to nominate Bruce.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Kate.
Okay, the only question I asked, was there anyone else want? I'd be happy to do it, I've enjoyed this, so,
I think it's fine.
okay.
Any other nominations for clerk? Hearing none, those in favor of Bruce serving as clerk for the upcoming year, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations, Bruce. And the last office is the treasurer. Any nominations for treasurer?
Yeah, I'll nominate Megan.
Okay, thank you.
Words do matter, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Okay. I'll second that one.
Okay.
All right.
Any other nominations for treasurer? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of Megan as serving as treasurer for the upcoming year, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carries 5-0. Congratulations, Megan, and we have our officers for the upcoming year. Congratulations to all and good luck.
Craig, I just want to comment. I think you'd make an excellent president for the board. I appreciate everything that you do to keep us on track and the planning that's required to make us run smoothly.
Agreed.
Agreed, yeah.
Definitely.
Well, thank you much, all. I don't think that's necessarily the case all the time, but it's truly a team effort, and I feel like it's just, we're all one of five, and that's how we're going to proceed. Okay, we'll do committee and liaison assignments. The first, let's see, being the Wisconsin Association of School Boards. Where is my explanation of that?
Is the explanation the same as what's on the spreadsheet?
Mhm.
Oh, I got it, I've got it here. Okay. So Wisconsin Association of School Boards, the WASB delegate receives regular legislative newsletters from WASB, copies of new laws, and then, when deemed appropriate, conveys information about those items to the board. In November, the delegate attends a one-day delegate workshop at which, together with delegates from all over the state and the WASB Policies and Resolutions Committee members, any policy changes and resolutions to be considered at the January convention are discussed and formulated. Before that meeting, the delegate should try to ascertain whether the local board has any concerns to be addressed at the workshop. The delegate also represents the board at the three-day convention in Milwaukee in January and carries to that meeting any direction for voting on the proposed resolutions that the board cares to give. I've held this position for quite a number of years now and enjoy it very much, but I'm certainly happy to turn that over to someone else who is wanting to take on that responsibility or willing to take that on. If no one would prefer to, I'd be happy to do it again.
I was gonna nominate you again.
It looks like
Nomination.
it doesn't.
No,
No, you just have, this is just.
it's kind of,
So
Oh.
it looks like based on the spreadsheet, you were the one
You're
that
it, yeah.
wanted it.
well, yeah, I'm willing to do it, sure. I've done it for quite some time. I'd be happy to. So Bruce, would you be willing to be alternate again?
I will.
Next is the Village of McFarland School Board Joint Planning Committee. The School District of McFarland and Village of McFarland entered into a memorandum of understanding in February of 2022 to formalize the Joint Planning Committee work to discuss issues of mutual concern. The district shall annually appoint 2 members and 1 alternate from its governing board to serve on the joint committee along with the district administrator or designee. In the 2022-23 school year, this group generally met every 2 to 3 months on the second Tuesday at 4 p.m. Bruce Fisher and Tom Mooney held these positions, and I served as the alternate. Anyone else interested in doing it?
I'm interested.
Yeah. And I'm willing to go off that committee.
Okay. So Bruce, are you interested in changing?
I am. I hope that's not, you know, I was trying to look back at the previous, over the last 5 years. I noticed there's some continuity with some of these. But this is the one that I really enjoy, so.
Okay. So Bruce and Megan? Anyone else care to serve as the alternate? Otherwise, I can do that too. We all good then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. CISA 2 Annual Convention Representative. Pursuant to section 116.021C, hold on 1 second. Wisconsin statutes and section 116.021A, Wisconsin statutes, the board needs to appoint a school board member as its representative to the 2023 CISA convention, which is generally held in late June at 6:30 in Whitewater. For 2022, Tom Mooney served as the representative to the convention with Megan Fessler as alternate. Tom, are you interested in doing that again?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Megan, would you care to be alternate again?
If no one else is
I
interested.
mean, I can be alternate, because
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
another committee went away, so I
All right.
probably need to be
And-
added.
And the date for that is June 20th.
Okay.
At
Okay, so
6:30
we got
in
Kate.
Whitewater.
Kate and Tom, or no, Tom with Kate as the alternate. Okay, very good. Business and Education Partnership Council. The Business and Education Partnership Council oversees and directs the business and education partnership efforts in the district. During the 22-23 school year, the Business Education Partnership Group was in a rebuilding year, but is anticipated to meet from 2 to 3 p.m. in person at a community location 4 times per year during the 23-24 school year. Kate served in this position in 22-23 with Tom as the alternate. Kate,
Yeah, I can do it again if
That-
nobody else wants to.
any other interest? Okay, any other interest in being the alternate? Tom, are you,
Sure, I can do that.
you can still do it? Okay, so that one will remain the same. Employee Relations Committees. The Professional Staff Employee Relations Committee, or PRESERC, was formed by the School District of McFarland in conjunction with the McFarland Federation of Teachers to serve as a means of representing professional staff regarding concerns, suggestions, and the overall satisfaction of the work environment. Its purpose shall be to allow representatives from each school within the district the opportunity to listen, respond, make recommendations, and act as a voice on behalf of the employees when meeting and conferring with the board and administration. For the 22-23 school year, PRESERC has generally met monthly around 3:45. Craig Howery and Megan Fessler agreed to serve on the PRESERC committee with Tom Mooney as alternate. Yeah, I'd like to do that again. Megan, you
Yeah,
interested?
if no one else is interested, I do.
Okay,
really
any
enjoy
other
those.
interest in it? Okay, Tom, would you be willing to be alternate?
Sure. Yep.
All right, so that one will stay the same. The Support Staff Employee Relations Committee, or SERZERC, was formed by the School District of McFarland in conjunction with the McFarland Support Staff Federation to serve as a means of representing support staff regarding concerns, suggestions, and the overall satisfaction of the work environment. Its purpose shall be to allow representatives from each school within the district the opportunity to listen, respond, make recommendations, and act as a voice on behalf of the employees when meeting and conferring with the board and administration. For the 22-23 school year, SERZERC has generally met every second or third month at 4 p.m. Kate and Megan agreed to serve in this ad hoc support staff employee relations committee for 22-23 with Bruce as alternate. Do we need to make any changes there?
I mean, I'm fine with doing it, but if somebody else wants to do it instead, that's okay.
Same.
It's
I
up
mean,
to you. If it helps you, I think your schedule is crazy. I can do it, but I could also be alternate, and it works the same way.
How about we flip it, because Bruce is always there anyway?
Okay,
No offense,
so you
Bruce.
could be
Bruce
alternate.
has no life.
No.
That's what you're saying. That's all right.
That is not what I'm saying at all, but then I don't feel as guilty if I'm like
Don't,
trying
you
to
shouldn't feel
flip
guilty.
it,
'cause
so
I
I'll
don't
be the
mind doing it,
alternate.
but it kind of in some ways makes sense, I just thought.
I was gonna say, I think at the end of this year, both have been meeting more frequently.
We're trying to do that more often.
Yeah, so that would be one consideration too.
Okay, so Bruce and Megan with Kate as the alternate?
Mm-hmm.
All right. WEVA, Destinations Career Academy and Insight School of Wisconsin rep. The WEVA, Destination Career Academy and Insight School of Wisconsin representative attends the monthly Four Lakes Board of Education meetings. Recently, these meetings have been scheduled as a virtual meeting at 11 a.m. on the third Thursday of each month. Tom Mooney served as the representative for 22-23. Tom, would you like to do that again, or
What if I said no?
then somebody else can do
I
it?
would go over there and
Based
probably
on the
slug it.
spreadsheet,
No, that would be fine. I think it's very interesting.
It's an interesting position.
It is.
And you
A
have,
number-
you
I've been-
have a nice longitudinal view. You see,
Yep.
I'm impressed.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Okay. WEVA 3-year review representatives. It appears as though, well, I'll read this, but no representatives are needed for the 23-24 school year. Craig and Bruce agreed to serve as the WEVA review representatives for the last review, which occurred in 21-22, and representatives will be appointed in May prior to the next review process. So there's no representation needed for this school year. That being the case, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
Before we,
ask
before we
Oh, go
do that,
ahead.
when do these officers take place?
No.
Now? Okay.
So starting to, okay.
That's what you were saying in that meeting.
And my question,
Berserk on Thursday.
for the WEVA one, is there a reason that we separate out the like,
3-year review?
yeah, the 3-year review from the regular
I don't know.
one?
The 3-year review, I think Scott Brown is involved with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Because
when has it-
we did it last year.
Yeah, so what did it involve, Bruce?
He came in and basically went through it,
Mhm.
and that's when Wayne was still,
Right.
superintendent.
Okay.
And that was really it. I'll be honest with you, it would've been so much easier the way you've been reporting and the stuff, that's why I said I'd probably give you slug you if you wanna do this. Because
Is
I
it-
really feel much more on top of it. But, Scott did a good job.
And if I may, I believe at the time Christine Krivenel was the representative.
She was
And I believe
that could be.
Scott worked with her
Yes.
before meeting.
She wasn't there
Maybe
she was not there that day.
meeting,
Yeah,
Oh.
But there was definitely communication.
Yeah.
yeah.
at the time.
Because I wondered if it made sense to combine those roles, or if if there was a reason that it's separate, keep it separate, but it seems like,
Two
It would
different
make most-
functions
okay,
altogether.
okay,
And that's a 3-year review.
It is, that's all it is, it's just
Mm.
become,
okay, all right.
But we don't need to worry about it.
We don't, yeah. So I'll second the motion to adjourn.
Wait,
Did
we
anybody
didn't-
make one yet?
Oh, I thought
make it.
someone did.
I'll make
Kate
a
did.
motion.
Okay, I'll
That is
go, I'll
Kate's
give that
job.
one to Kate.
That's my job.
Megan,
I didn't hear that.
and-
I didn't.
all
I
those-
didn't until now, but.
Oh, just kidding, I really thought I
We
heard
don't want
someone
to
do
ruin our
that.
The
streak.
first one after the second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Well done tonight, everyone.
Wow.
I thought we got a lot accomplished,
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Craig.
and we're doing it in a
Timely fashion.
timely fashion.
Yeah, based on the agenda, I thought it was gonna be like
Excellent,
9:30.
excellent.
I did too.
One and all.